Hello, welcome to Waffle-Free Storytelling. It's Tina Konstant here. I'm so glad you've joined me. As always, the waffle is right at the end. So we are jumping into this week's story, which is the very first of the Teal collection, which is book 4 of the Waffle-Free stories. All right, the story is called Maps That Matter. It's a story about Jenna and Monine. They were twins who were born just 30 seconds apart. It was impossible to tell who was the oldest because, as always happens with newborn and baby twins, they got mixed up from day one. Their mother always laughed when they asked who was born first and said it was a tie. They both came tumbling into the world like they were running a race. And maybe that is what set them on their path. From the beginning, they seemed to race each other. Who could do chores faster? Who could climb the highest, run the fastest, shout the loudest, sound the smartest? And always they taunted each other. "I will clear the path," one would say to the other, "and I will send you a map." Nothing was off limits, including love. Jenna and Monine even competed when it came to that precious thing. As a result, the people they gave their hearts to were overloaded and overwhelmed with gifts and sonnets and songs and passion and surprises. So much so that the love never lasted, because it became clear that all the attention was actually for the sister and not for the lover. So it was that by the time the sisters entered their 3rd decade, they were both alone. Now, some would say this was a sadness, but for the sisters it was not. They had each other, they had their rivalry, and on this particular day, they had a new challenge. You see, the sisters lived in a village, tucked away in a valley surrounded by treacherous mountains. People were always trying to climb out of the valley, but those mountains took every life that tried. Some died in the snow and the ice, and their bodies were found huddled in caves. Some stumbled back to the village mad and broken, but many simply disappeared, never to return. The challenge the sisters set each other was to find out why. What was on that mountain that took so many lives? And the only way they knew to do that was to climb it themselves, to see what evil lurked in the cold shade, to look it in the eye, and to defeat it. It was a daring move, and the people in the village wondered if the sisters were taking things too far. The last person to go missing on that mountain was a warrior, a wild and skilled adventurer. He had climbed the slopes and was never seen again. Before that, it was a family of time-served mountaineers, all determined and fully equipped. So you can understand that the mountain was out of bounds. No one wanted to climb it. No one was interested in exploring it. No one went near it. But the sisters were determined to prove they had what it took to defeat any challenge. And so they packed their bags and they climbed those dreaded slopes. At first they were surprised. The climb wasn't that hard. The slopes weren't made of ice and impenetrable rock. But as they climbed higher, they began to understand. No matter how bright the sun was in the sky, the forest floor below was dark. The trees were so tall and the leaves were so dense that the sisters could often not see any more than a few feet ahead of them. Jenna and Monine climbed for 2 days before they set up camp on the banks of a river that ran from the top of the mountain all the way through their village. They had no idea whether it was dusk or dawn or midday or midnight, and feeling every emotion from excitement to terror, they set off in opposite directions in search of any reason why so many should disappear from this mountain. As agreed, every 12 hours they met back at the camp to discuss what they had found. Jenna was unnerved. "I'm finding warnings," she said. "Symbols that look like daggers and crosses. This place isn't safe. There is evil here." But Monine didn't agree. "I'm also finding signs," she said. "But they look like arrows and directions, like people did find their way and they're leaving clues." And so the days passed, Jenna finding warnings, Monine finding hope. After 3 months of searching, the sisters huddled by the fire with a sense of unease from Jenna and anticipation from Monine. Jenna gathered all the evidence she had found and she laid it out. "There is a dark force in this forest," she said. "All these signs prophesy doom and death. We have to leave." Monine laid down all that she had found, and she said, "No, it's a map. Don't you see it?" There was nothing Jenna could do to dissuade her sister. Monine was determined to follow her map and climb further into the mountain. Still arguing, they packed their bags and broke camp. Jenna took steps down the mountain. Monine took steps up the mountain. And then Monine said, "I will clear a path and I will send you a map." And Jenna's heart all but broke in two as she watched her sister disappear into the dark, thick fog. There was nothing else she could do except return to the village to tell them that Monine was gone. And so the days and the weeks passed. Jenna tried to fill her time, but all she could do was sit by the riverbank and hope her sister would return. But as the sun set on every day, there was not a single sign from Monine. Until one day, sitting on the riverbank, staring into the shadows, Jenna saw a glint and a glitter in the water. She reached into the stream and picked up a pebble. She rubbed the stone on her sleeve and she stared at it. "Gold?" she whispered. She stared into the river. Then she looked up the mountain, all the way to the top. There were specks and pebbles of gold lighting the way. And Jenna heard her sister's voice in her head. "I will clear the path and I will send you the map." Jenna ran into the village and told them what she had found. But the villagers were unsure. They were divided. "What if it's a trap?" they said. But Monine's voice would not leave Jenna. "I will clear the path and I will send you the map." Despite warnings from the village, Jenna packed her bags and followed the river. Picking up small pieces of gold as she went, Jenna ran through the forest, up the mountain, into a cave, through dark and twisting tunnels, and to her surprise, out the other side. And there, standing with her arms open, smiling in more sunlight than Jenna had ever seen, was her sister. Beside Monine was the adventurer who had vanished before them, and all the others who had climbed the mountain, taken the challenge, faced fear, confronted uncertainty, and had gone in search of the other side. The sisters hugged each other and laughed. "You cleared the path," Jenna said, and Monine smiled. "But you followed the map." Leaving gold in the stream to help others find their way, Jenna and Monine finally joined forces. They put their competition aside and to this day continue to climb the highest, the mightiest peaks, putting gold in the stream so others can follow. Hey, you beautiful human being, that is it from Waffle-Free Storytelling today. Right. Oh, go and put some gold in a stream for others to follow. We've all got something incredible to give to the rest of the world, and I think it is our human responsibility to leave what we learn so that others can learn from us. So go make some maps, but have a beautiful cup of tea in the meantime. I'll see you next time. Go drop around to www.tinakonstant.com for all the other shenanigans going on with Waffle-Free Storytelling. And I look forward to seeing you there. All right. Have an excellent day. Bye-bye now. Hey. Biscuits later, Jack.